to December. Speak Now, Part 5. A Miraculous Ladybug Fanfiction. This series is based on the songs from Taylor Swift's best-selling album, Speak Now. The art of Ladybug and Cat Noir in the opening and thumbnail image was commissioned from Gekkozilla on Tumblr. You can find a link to their Tumblr account in the description box below. If you find the narration speed to be either too fast or too slow for your preference, you can click the settings wheel on the video and adjust it to your liking. And if you haven't already, make sure you've subscribed and hit the bell to stay up to date on the latest parts of your favorite fanfiction. Marinette felt Cat Noir shift beside her and opened her eyes to the white morning sunlight. The two of them spent the night in an abandoned loft on the outskirts of town. Her dress lay over a chair, a testimony of where she should have woken up today. She turned to look at him, still sleeping, and sighed. She should have been the one to make time to see him, but in the end, he was the one who stepped out first. "Spots on," she whispered, knowing the conversation they'd have when he woke up would steal away the serenity encompassing them. He stirred at the light, taking a moment to enjoy the end of a dream before rolling over to look at her. "Oh," Cat said softly. "Oh." It was the only response he had after seeing Ladybug for the first time in years. She had so many questions for him, but she bit her tongue. "How's life? What's your day job? How old are you now? Did you get any pets?" "Tell me, how's your family?" Ladybug asked, feeling her insides shake. He was finally in front of her, and the best she could manage was small talk like work and the weather. "I haven't seen them in a while. What's your life like?" "I've been good. Busier than ever." "Oh." Again, it was his only response, but she couldn't blame him. His guard was up, and she knew why. The last time he saw her, the day after they sent Hawkmoth away, he brought her roses and a declaration of love. Ladybug was sure the memory of leaving him on a rooftop still burned in the back of his mind. She was the one who let the roses die. She stood up and extended her hand to help him up, straightening her posture for the coming conversation. She wouldn't blame him if he got angry and started yelling, so she tightened her face, ready to defend herself while swallowing her pride. "I'm sorry for that night," Ladybug said, looking Cat Noir dead in the eye. She didn't know how to tell him that. In the dark hours of the morning, she'd gone back to December all the time. He didn't respond for what felt like forever, covering his face with his hand as he looked away. "You said you wanted freedom, so I didn't pursue." "Yeah. It turns out freedom wasn't anything but missing you." "What?" His response came quickly, filled with genuine surprise before she could get out the next sentence. She stood there, eyebrows knit together, in a defensive stance with what appeared to be an angry expression. Ladybug was upset, after all, but not with him. She was mad at herself and the decisions she made in the past. "I've spent nights," she began, "wishing I realized what I had when you were mine." "I was yours?" "You were by my side, the partner I've needed in every way but romantically, and a big part of my life. You were mine." "Oh." There it was again, a crestfallen reaction. If I could go back to December, I'd turn around and make it all right. But you were about to get married yesterday. Yeah, she scoffed, a sad chuckle escaping her. Yeah, I guess I was. Is that why you came to get me? Because of Ladybug? No, I didn't know you were, well, you, until I woke up next to you. I had an inkling on the rooftops last night, however. Cat ran his fingers through his hair, unsure of how to respond. She could only imagine what he thought of her now. As the date got closer, I stayed up while playing back myself leaving. I think it hit me hardest when your birthday passed and I didn't call. It's been years. Why would you? She shrugged and looked away. I don't know. I don't even know the date, just the month. When did all this start? Was it cold feet for your fiancé? I thought about summer and all those now beautiful times, when I could count on having you by my side. That was it? No, I realized I loved you in the fall. She paused and looked up, waiting for an "oh," like the rest of his responses thus far. Instead, she saw a stunned expression, a direct contrast to the one she wore. She expected him to do something Cat Noir-like pull out a Cheshire grin or run his fingers through his hair again. But he stood there, a portrait of surprise, as she dodged his eyes. When the cold came, Ladybug continued, so did the dark days when fear crept into my mind. You gave me all your love, and all I gave you was goodbye. Dark days? He said, crossing his arms and leaning forward a bit, breaking his formal, straight posture. The ones where I wondered if I'd be alone the rest of my life. Bugaboo. His voice was barely a whisper. I miss your tan skin and your sweet smile. You were so good to me, Cat. So right. She felt tears sting her eyes as she recalled their time together. The first and last time she cried in front of him was that September night when her dad got akumatized. Cat held her in his arms, unaware why she cried, but supporting her anyway. Maybe this is wishful thinking, Ladybug whispered. Probably mindless dreaming, but if we loved again, I'd swear I'd love you right. I'd go back in time and change it, but I can't. So if a chain is on your door after finding out that the girl you swept off her feet last night is Ladybug, I'd understand. She couldn't bring herself to look at him after such a dramatic and certainly embarrassing confession. What kind of high school script was she reading from? She heard him take a step towards her and braced herself, unsure of how he'd respond. He stopped in front of her, close enough that she could feel his warmth. She closed her eyes, making one last statement before he could react. Cat, she said, I'd go back and change my own mind, if I could. She felt him slip his fingers through her hair to the back of her neck before pulling her to his shoulder, his other arm wrapped around her waist. That's the thing, my lady, he whispered. I, too, go back to that December all the time. Her eyes were still closed, but the scent of leather filled her nostrils, and she found the courage to extend her arms, ever so slowly, into a hug. How many nights had she had this conversation with him in her mind, each time ending in bitter words and hurt feelings? How many times did he walk away? This was better than any dream. This was better than that December. Thank you so much for listening. You can check out these other videos for more fanfiction. I'll catch you next time.